going to start in a grounding Tadasana mountain pose, taking some calming breaths, feeling the earth under your feet. Going to inhale, and on your inhale, we're going to slowly bring our arms up above our head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale all the way back up to the top, back into Tadasana mountain pose. Exhale, come down to a forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant your hands and we're going to step back into plank pose. Bring your knees down to the ground and then slowly lower into cobra. Bring your head down to the mat. We're going to push up into all fours, tabletop. I'm going to lift into down dog. And while we're here, walk your dog. Just pedal your feet out. Loosen up the hips, bending those knees to create more space in the hips. Relaxing the neck. Feel that energy pulling towards the middle of your body. Take a step forward, back into forward fold. Just grab opposite elbows and just sway from side to side. Plant the hands, and on your next inhale, we're going to slowly rise back to Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands to the ground. Step back into plank pose. Bring the knees down to the ground slowly and into cobra. We're going to push right back up into down dog. And while we're here, really feel that energy shooting out of your pelvis. Stepping forward, forward fold. And on your inhale, rise up and slowly make your way to Tadasana mountain pose. Just going to shake it out. Notice any differences in your body. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, extending through the crown. Exhale, plant those hands and step back into your plank pose. We're going to try chaturanga, just lowering all the way down. And you can come back up into cobra or upward dog. Make our way to down dog. Lift your right leg high to the sky. You're going to bring that right leg through to the top of your mat. Bring that left knee down, and we're going to come into low lunge. Hands come down to the mat. Step back into down dog. Your left leg is going to come high to the sky. Bring that left leg through to the top of your mat. Bring that right knee down. And low lunge, extending those arms, reaching for the sky. Plant those hands. Step back into down dog. Walk your feet to your hands, top of your mat. forward fold. Inhale all the way up, back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a moment here just to have some deep breaths, rooting to the ground, remembering that intention you set at the beginning of class. Notice how you feel. Inhale, arms come up. We're going to sit into chair pose. So bending at your knees, making sure your back is still flat, and then fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant those hands, stepping back into plank pose. Keeping your torso parallel to the ground. When you're ready, you can come down onto your knees, or you can go through chaturanga to cobra. Pushing back to down dog. Walk your feet to the top of the mat and fold. Inhale, we're going to come back up through chair pose, bending your knees, and come back into Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a moment here, catch your breath. Do any adjustments you need. Now we're going to work on a little bit of balancing and twisting. We're going to set up into warrior two pose. Arms are up, parallel to the floor. Try not to crunch your shoulders to your ears. That front knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. We're going to come into exalted warrior. So just slightly tilting back. You can have that back hand gently on your back leg. You can either look up to the sky, or you can also look down to the ground. Coming back into warrior two, we're going to come right over into extended side angle. Keep that neck parallel to that floor. You don't want to lose any integrity in your neck. Back to your warrior two. We're going to straighten that front leg. We're going to come into triangle pose. So keeping that front leg straight, you can have a slight micro bend to it. Our torso should also be parallel to the floor. If you have any shoulder injuries, you can place your hand on the small of your back. You can also look down to the floor. Coming up through to warrior two, we're going to then bring our hands to the ground, step back into plank, lower, down to the ground, and up through cobra. We'll meet in down dog. Pedal out your feet, just release any tension in the hips. Walk your feet forward to the top of your mat to forward fold. Inhale all the way up, back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Now the other side. So we're going to do the opposite leg. Set up into warrior two. Your back foot should be about between 45 and 90 degrees. Notice how my foot is pointing towards the wall. My front foot is pointing towards the couch. Come into exalted warrior. And really reaching through those top finger tips. You feel that stretch in your side body. to warrior two, all the way through to extended side angle. Again, if you have any shoulder injuries, you can extend your arm towards the wall or up to the ceiling. You also can put it in the small of your back. Back to warrior two, straightening that front knee and coming into triangle pose. We want your spine to be somewhat parallel to the floor. You're getting your strength from your torso to hold up your top body. Coming back through to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat and we'll step back into plank. Come through a vinyasa. Cobra, and then on your exhale, we'll come into down dog. Your feet towards your hands and fold. On your inhale, come up to Tadasana, mountain pose. You're going to bring one of your knees up towards your hips. We're going to work on some balancing here. Your opposite arm will come to opposite knee. We're working on some cross body work, and you can extend that arm out to the side to hold for balance. Play around with it. Just working on that stability of that balancing leg. And now you can place the same hand on the same knee and twisting to the other side. Let's do the other leg. If you ever fall out of a balance, just always know you can always come back to it. Don't think it's a failure, because it's not. You might feel some shaking. Those are those tiny little core muscles trying to stabilize your body. And just relax into Tadasana. Now we're going to come into a tree pose. You have a few options here. You can place your ankle above your knee and hold. You can bring your hands above your head, or you can keep your hands down towards your chest. You also can place your foot on the inside of your inner thigh, just for a slightly more challenging balance, as you can see. If you really want to challenge, you can also try to wrap your leg around your standing leg and hold. You also can place your toe on the ground for stability as well. Shake it off, and we are going to go to the other side. Find that one side is better than the other, and this is very normal, especially when you are dominant on either side. We tend to see that imbalance throughout our entire body, not just if it's your right arm or left arm. We tend to see it in our hips and our legs as well, even in our ankles, which is why it's good to do exercises like this. You can see here I'm quite wobbly on one side. there's so many factors that can lead to it as well. Here's a tip: don't take yourself too seriously when it comes to yoga. All right, we'll come back to our vinyasa. So we're planting our hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant those hands, step back into plank. And we can do a chaturanga if you'd like, or you can just slowly come down on your knees. Lift into cobra. And then back up into down dog. Place your opposite hand on your opposite knee. I'm just going to do just a little bit of core work here. Now switch hands, opposite hand to opposite knee. And now you're going to take the same knee and you're going to bring your knee to the same side of your elbow. So I have my right knee going to my right ankle. Doing a little bit of core work. And hips. Now my left leg comes high to the sky, knee to elbow, back up, knee to elbow. From here, we're going to come onto our knees and we're going to come to a child's pose. You have two options. You can have your arms out in front of you or arms out to the side. Resting your forehead on the ground. You can also adjust the width of your knees. You can have wide knees if you have any knee injuries. Just breathe. Notice any different sensations. Slowly come back up to a seated, and we'll just meet on our knees. And let's refocus. Placing your hand on your chest and just feeling the breath, feeling your heartbeat. We're going to come onto our seat and we're just going to do some one-legged forward folds. Just place one foot on the inside of your inner thigh. You're just going to walk forward. You can either touch your knee, your shin, your toe, or you can also just stay in a straight seated position. Just if you're feeling tight or you have any injuries, you don't want to injure yourself any further. So listen to your body. I like to close my eyes during the floor series. You are welcome to close your eyes as well. We'll switch legs. When you're doing this stretch, make sure both your sit bones are on the mat. We tend to want to lift one side up, and this is usually because we have tight hips and tight hamstrings as well. So that's why it is okay if you can't touch your toes. Come into just a quick butterfly stretch. So if you are feeling tight in your legs, you can always bring your feet away from your body. This just allows more flexibility in your hip and your knees. Close your eyes, and if you want, you can also come to a forward fold if you would like a little bit more of a stretch. To seated. Extend slowly we're going to come down onto our backs. We're going to come to little bridge. So your feet are shoulder width apart. You're going to lift up your hips. You want to make sure that your knees are not sinking in or spraying out to the side. So imagine you have a ball and you're squeezing that ball in between your thighs. My shoulders are on the ground, so is my neck. I'm using my hands, I'm pushing my hands into the ground. And then on your way down, just slowly roll your spine one vertebra at a time. You can windshield washer your legs side to side just to release any tension in the hips. And we're going to do this again. This time, you're going to clasp your hands behind your back, and this is allowing just a little bit more room for us to lift our hips up. We're also getting a really nice shoulder stretch here. If you'd like to have a little bit of a challenge, you can alternate your toes lifting up. Good, and then slowly come back down to the floor, one vertebra at a time. Just release those hips. Next, we're just going to come to a nice side stretch, figure 4 stretch. We did a lot of twisting today. We worked with our hips. So this is a nice way to end a class that is focused on the lower body. After the video, you can always just come back to this stretch, this pose, if it felt really nice. You can do this one at any time of day, really. It's a nice release of the lower back, the hips. We also get a really nice shoulder stretch too with our arms out to the side. Position. And our last pose before Shavasana is my favorite, just legs in the air. And you have a few options. You can you can just lift your legs in the air. You also can place your hands underneath your sacrum to allow for more support. You also can use a wall. If you have a wall near you, you can just place your legs against the wall. Arms come out to the side. You also can have cactus arms. This pose here is fantastic for any of you who are standing a lot. If you are sitting, especially if you're sitting cross-legged, this one is great because it helps with circulation and blood flow, bringing your blood back from the bottom of your body back up to your heart. This is a great one for fatigue, tired, leg pain. And then we'll come back and we're going to make our way into Shavasana. So our resting pose. Feel free to grab any blankets, pillows, a hoodie. This is your final resting pose. You can stay here as long as you want. I'm slowly coming down just to get a little bit of extra ab work. And in Shavasana, this is where we fully relax. sinking down into the ground, slowing our breath and letting go. Start to wiggle your fingertips, wiggle your toes, gently moving your head from side to side, slowly waking up the body. And when you're ready, we will meet on your side. From here, make your way to a seated position. Doesn't matter about your hair, doesn't matter what you look like. Thank you so much for joining me for a quick 30-minute flow.